Coby White held a basketball camp, and while media attended, he had some things to say. And Coby White went on to admit that it's time for the young Chicago Bulls to step up in regards to the leadership. And then Josh Giddey gets emotional about his loss in the Olympics as being a part of Australia basketball. Y'all know we're going to talk about it, break it down, but you got to hear the music first.
Cognac. Gang.
Shy Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on today's daily episode. If you're tuned in with me today, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well. Ladies and gentlemen, the support has been crazy, so I want to give a huge thank you to all the support that y'all been giving us over here on Shy Boys Podcast. Now, let's get into it. Now, Coby White had himself a camp that he held in Bedford Park, for some young basketball and young up-and-coming inspiring basketball players, pretty much saying that the reason he wanted to do it is because him being from North Carolina, coming from a small town basketball city, he didn't really get to see NBA players that much. So he wanted to go out and give back to the city of these young, talented kids in the city of Chicago, and I got to show much love to him. Now, we had some of the media that attended this, and they caught up with Coby White, and he admits that it was time for the young Chicago Bulls to step up in regards to leadership. Coby White went on to say, we got a younger team this year. So we're trying to take steps in that category. In fact, Coby White and Ayo Dosunmu, who also attended the camp, Coby White said that him and Ayo talked about this very dynamic, especially when they heard that P. Will was resigning. Then they went on to support Montes Buzelis in the Summer League. And that's what it really comes down to. I think that when it's time now, as we looking at it, there's no more DeMar DeRozan. Me personally, I believe DeMar DeRozan was probably that emotional leader or that veteran that the young Chicago Bulls relied on and depended on a lot. And now he's out of the building. I believe Alex Caruso was another one of those veterans who provided some leadership to this young Chicago Bulls team. And he's now off the team. I don't know how this young Chicago Bulls team feel about Zach LaVine and his leadership style. If there's anything, I'm not going to say there's something or nothing, but I will say I just don't know right now, because sometimes you don't have to be the guy that's barking or giving, being the most outspoken to show leadership skills. But Coby White did show credit, a lot of credit and a lot of love to DeMar DeRozan. And it kind of seems like Coby White wants to kind of, carry himself in the way that DeMar DeRozan carried himself, throughout his NBA career, and more specifically with the Chicago Bulls. Coby White went on to say, DeMar always led by example. He wasn't always the loudest guy in the room or the most talkative guy in the room, but if we had a meeting, he was early. If we had a bus time, he was one of the first ones there. He was never late to a meeting. He was always ready to go. When the game came, it was always about business, and the way he took me, Dose, DT, Pat under his wing is shed light on the things that I'm looking forward to when I get older, and that can start now for me. And Coby White is absolutely right. That moment right now is probably one of those key moments in Coby White's career, alongside Ayo Dosunmu as well, alongside Patrick Williams as well, with now just getting a new contract and being, paid pretty damn well for some of the, things that he's been able to do in the NBA and some of the things that he's gone through. That's, it's something that the Chicago Bulls really, really consider. But I think that when you talk about the leadership style, I really, really believe that you don't necessarily have to be the most outspoken, but you got to call a spade, or call out BS when you see BS. And over the last few years, I've seen guys step up, and those two guys more specifically has been Coby White and it has been Ayo Dosunmu. I don't know if Patrick Williams is that vocal of a guy, but you don't necessarily have to always lead by talking or being the loudest in the room. Sometimes you can go out and say, hey, follow me. And you can leave it at that. And then somebody can go out there and ball. But I think for Coby White admitting this, that it's time, to me, that shows growth. That shows maturity. to that these guys are absolutely ready just to attack this season so they can go out there and do the best that they could for the Chicago Bulls. And I got to commend Coby White on this. And I believe Coby White and Ayo Dosunmu can lead this young Chicago Bulls team to new heights. But I do believe it's going to have to be a collective. I don't think it's just going to have to come down to two guys in this locker room, especially with how young they are. And I don't think it's necessarily fair to just place it on these two young players. It's going to have to be a collective. And I'm anxious to see how Josh Giddey feel about this. You know what I'm saying? Not personally saying that he should take these words in a negative way, but I'm just saying, how does Josh Giddey feel about becoming a leader for the young Chicago Bulls? Because Josh Giddey is going to be one of those guys with the ball in his hands a lot. So he's going to have to step up. He's going to have to, make sure guys are in the right position. He's going to have to make sure guys are level-headed in the closing moments of the game, in critical moments of the game. We've seen Josh Giddey with Team Australia hit some big-time buckets and then also have some bonehead mistakes. Now I want to see if Josh Giddey, push that message out to his team. Hey, the importance of taking care of the ball down the stretch, the importance of moving the ball down the stretch and getting the best available shot. And then when you do get the shot, hitting the shot. I'm anxious to see how do these guys all come together and mold together, because I'm also looking at a young bull who already talking greasy, and Montes Buzelis. Montes Buzelis already told the first overall pick in this draft, you ain't better than me and nothing, pretty much. He pretty much put it out there that Zachary Richardshire ain't got nothing on him. So Buzelis seems like he's that outspoken guy. He seemed like he got a little bit dog in him. We know he is one of the Chicagoland area kids. So we know that we talk a little greasy. We talk with a little more pride. We talk with a little more aggression that doesn't always mold or rub people the right way. But if you from Chicago, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes for somebody, sometimes you got to ask somebody what they mean by it, or sometimes you got to say your Chicago terms. Is you cool? Sometimes you got to come to those things. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, we know that most Chicago people are very, very outspoken, and that's what I'm anxious to see. How does this continue to mold and build the chemistry? We know that last month or so, Billy Donovan was doing his rounds to meet up with his players and whatnot, talk about expectations for the season, talk about certain things, and, mend some bridges that was burnt between him and Zach LaVine. And Zach LaVine could very well be that leader, for just, however long he's here. I believe that his days for the Chicago Bulls are numbered. But for the meantime, if you need good PR that's going to hit the media, Zach LaVine should go out here and be a good leader for this team. I'm anxious to see how these young guys are feeling about Nikola Vucevic. Have they became tone deaf to the things that he say, or are they willing to listen to Nikola Vucevic? Because we know Nikola Vucevic, he can get a little sassy too. You know what I'm saying? He can talk a little greasy too. So I'm happy that Coby White has placed this out there. I'm happy that Coby White has set the expectations that these young guys have to take. You know what I'm saying? And grab the bull by the horn and start leading in the best way that they could. And I believe that they have a great example that was once two great examples that was once a part of this team. That's DeMar DeRozan and Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso left everything on the NBA floor, whether he was injuring his damn self or, just helping trying to win basketball games. DeMar DeRozan showing up, the preparation, the off-season workout, the way that you talk to media, the way that you show up to meetings, the way that you just be an absolute pro. Those are two really good examples that these young Chicago Bulls got to see. And they were literally under DeMar DeRozan's wing on how to approach these games. So I believe it's going to be huge for them. I'm happy that Coby White admitted that it's time for the young Bulls to step up. I'm just anxious to see what's going to come out of this. We shall see. But let me know down below on your thoughts on that. Now, before we get up out of here, I got to talk about Josh Giddey getting emotional at the end of, his last match in these Olympics versus Serbia. Australia took a bad loss after being up by double digits, early in that game. And then they tried to fight back. They took the lead in overtime for a little bit. And then Nikola Joker, Jokic just pretty much said that it was over with. And Josh Giddey at the end of that game got emotional, felt like he was letting his country down, but he did make a statement and say, we will be back. And I'm going to say this, if somebody clowning this man because he shed a few tears, screw you. Give me the guy that's going to sit there and cry and get emotional about losing a game that he felt was important to him. Don't give me Ben Simmons. Don't give me Ben Simmons. Give me the crybaby. Not even the crybaby. Give me the guy that's going to cry when they lose an important game. Give me that. Because I know that if Josh Giddey ends up, or at least appears to be, that if the Chicago Bulls get in a tough matchup in the playoff series, in the play-in series, and the Chicago Bulls got to get it done, that right there shows me that he's going to care. That right there shows me that he's going to care. He's going to care about the game itself, not disrespect the game like Ben Simmons has done countless times. So give me the guy that's going to shed a few tears and say, I let my people down. Give me the guy that shed a few tears that comes out and makes an emphasis to let you know we will be back. Give me that guy. Don't give me the guy that's going to sit there and make every excuse up in the world, point fingers at the other guys, talk smack but can't back it up, act like he want to smoke but don't want to smoke. Give me Josh Giddey or the type of guy that's going to go out here and say, look, I let my city down. So I'm anxious to see if Josh Giddey performs well. I believe he's going to get a deal. And if he performs well, he's going to become a fan favorite simply because all the things that he can do in this game. He can pass, he can shoot, he can facilitate, playmate, work in transition. He's going to get better at defense. He's going to get better at the three-point shot, as we've seen him do these last 3 years, well, his entire career, pretty much every single year, he's improved that three-point shot that a lot of people, including myself, are keeping our eyes on. But give me Josh Giddey in these emotions. I love this type of emotions because it take all of us back. Most of us right here, we couldn't go out there and play pro sports, but we played some level of competition when it came to basketball, football, whatever, at least up into the high school level, at least for most of us, I did. And if we lost the game, I was pissed. And if people was playing around, I was pissed and they was getting cussed out. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I love this mentality. You know what I'm saying? It's a good start. Now, I could be completely wrong when he get to the Chicago Bulls and he can run into Jerry and be like, hell no, rock with Jerry. Hell no, rock with Billy. He could very well do that. But this right here is a great glimpse or a great moment that I love from Josh Giddey. Let the people know that you're going to go back and work your tail off so you can be back. Go ahead. If you feel like you that emotional and you let your people down, if you let your country down and then eventually let that translate into letting the city of Chicago down, and you speaking like that, talking about we going to be back. We going to be back. That's the guy I want in my locker room. That's all I'm saying. So Josh Giddey did get emotional about the loss, you know what I'm saying, with the Australia, basketball, losing to Serbia. But I say, get emotional. Show that you care about this sport. Show us that you care about winning games. You know what I'm saying? Because he very well could have easily said, well, it's just the Olympics. I'm going back. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. I'm going to go back to the USA, get my bag. You know what I'm saying? He very well could have treated it that way. But he wanted to represent not only himself, but his country. So I hope that when he gets to the Chicago Bulls, he don't want to just represent himself. He wants to represent the city of Chicago, the Chicago Bulls, and then also rep his country. That's what I'm hoping to get out of that. So this moment, go ahead. I ain't got nothing bad to say about it. I'm just happy you ain't out here acting nonchalant about it, my guy. So thank you for doing that. And hey, a motivated Josh Giddey for the Chicago Bulls should be a good one. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm going to leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for today's show. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Make sure if you tuned in, you hit the like button, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that notification bell as well. We have a mailbag episode that's going to drop this weekend. We still taking in calls. Call in, state your name, leave your take on anything Chicago Bulls. The number to do so is 773-242-9219. This is another episode of Shy Bulls Podcast. Thank y'all, Bulls Nation. Always see red, and y'all already know. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. For sure.
Cognac. Gang.